Streaks. Wow. Nice car. The camera must be hallucinating. Shit moving. How fucking cool is that, man? These filters are fucking getting greater and greater. It's amazing. It shows stuff moving. It looks like stuff moving. Yeah, they can put raindrops on your window and they're not there. Well, guess what? They can also reveal shit that is there that you can't see with your bare naked fingers. Now, how fucking magnanimous am I? I give my enemies quarter sometimes, and even the weapons even the weapons that could defeat me, I give my enemies. How fucking magnanimous am I? And I only do it to illustrate the fact that their power is pyrrhic. It's reprobates in special positions who know no better as far as the outcome. The outcome is always the same. Tyrants lose. Freedom fighters and lovers win, even if they die in the process. Freedom always wins. Tyrants always fail, even if they're winning, with no sign of failing. They've already failed. Even if their progeny has to face the repercussions, progeny who may not even deserve or who may not even be privy to what happened. Unfortunately, the progeny will pay if the contemporaneous current perpetrator isn't brought to justice. They always do. Or maybe almost half the time, some unwitting tool or someone who had nothing to do with it is inculcated into a world that allows them to be the cat's paw. The cat's paw reaches into the fire for the object of desire for the tyrant he works for. They will always get their paws burned, even if they don't, by reaching into the fire. When they come back to their bosses with less than they desire, they get their paws burned. You see, your masters, gang stalkers, don't think too highly of you, and they're going to neutralize you as soon as your job is done. You understand that? You see how that works? I know you do. I know you understand. All this garbage you put in our midst. I know you were ordered to do it, and you might have even thought it was for the greater good. And it may be your greater good. It's not for the greater good. See all this garbage you put in our midst? It's going to be identified, and those who dispersed it are going to be identified. You think taking advantage of a trusting population during a time of crises, scare quotes. The only crisis is the fact that you got away with peddling this fake ass malady that's no more than a respiratory replicant. You've mimicked respiratory illnesses. You've been congesting people for years now. Sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you could rest medicine. Yeah, we know. That's because you created the sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, motherfucker. You are the sickness industry. You are anathema to everything decent. You are a plague. Not humans in general, the ones that are breathing out CO2, which the plants love. You are the plague, the scourge on the earth. Those who claim global warming is a threat, most of whom believe it. They really think that they're fighting for a virtuous cause. And same charities, the Cancer Awareness Month, where you give people ribbons to run around and raise money for cancer awareness, not cancer prevention, cancer awareness. Isn't that some shit? Man. I may be the reason the CDC put prevention at the end of their retarded title. Center for Disease Control. I said it as a kid, Mom, why is it the Center for Disease Control? Why do they want to control disease? Shouldn't they want to eradicate it or maybe even prevent it? It should be the Center for Disease Control and Eradication, but it's prevention. Yeah, sure. They want to prevent your disease as much as McDonald's wants to prevent your hunger. Give me a fucking break, man. Give me a fucking break. Gotta be joking. I feel like a practical joke has been played on yours truly. All this dirty electric, just dirty electric, foisted on us by the Justice Department, Signals Intelligence, NSA, and all the rest of the subcontractors, and we're breathing it in, and it's reading our minds, and it's also giving them the ability to cause us pain. Pain compliance, behavior modification, for those of us who engage in activism to expose government crimes, like myself, Payday Monsanto. I do it quite masterfully in music and activism. These motherfuckers got us turned up on this grid. The rest, they're making comfortable. They're heating their genitalia up just nice and it's perfect. They found the sweet spot for everyone, and everyone's in a basically they can't straight. And when they want someone to not be able to think straight for purposes of revelatory information they might divulge, they just turn it up a little more, and that person cannot think at all because, well, they're on the verge of orgasmic, climactic, um, ecstatic sensations. And the other ones some other ones who do that encounter the precipice of revelatory information, and they turn up the ball squasher or the leg cramper or the brain zapper or just the gum weakener, which makes your teeth fall out. And this is all done by little fibers, and they're in fact hook and loop technology. Velcro, yeah, that's right, Velcro. Nano Velcro. You better fucking believe it. That's all this shit is nano Velcro in a polymer, graphene doped electrostatic mesh, or some combination thereof that we can't see. We can move it out of our way, and it just comes back. We just dislodge it for a brief moment. It's like the whole planet now is wrapped. The, they have a vampire squid wrapped across their face, and they don't even know it. You know why? Because the vampire squid knows just where and when to affect pressure and where not to. So you see it as a mosquito bite or just some random itch. They can simulate a herpes itch on your lip. You know how many times this dude made my lip tingle and then said, "I'm giving you D-Lo's herpes," or "I'm giving you my herpes, kid," in D-Lo's voice. When I haven't had a cold sore in probably almost 7 years, because I cured my herpes uh, with DMSO and oregano oil at the base of the spine. These motherfuckers are herpes. They've taken all of your maladies over, all nature's maladies and illnesses, sicknesses, and disorders, most of which don't even exist as far as mental disorders. They make them up, and they just copy the different disorders and make new ones, so they have new medications. Anyway, they don't exist. They've been eradicated, and first they were replicated, then they were eradicated for the most part, and now they're under control of big pharmaceutical and big tech. That's why I like to say Microsoft merged with Merck, and now they're called MERCKROSOFT. And then the police state, of course, is overseeing the whole thing, and everything is being integrated now, uh, medically, um, judiciously, or records, financial records, just general demeanor um, is known when you walk down the street and a device is pointed at you, or they just look at you. I'm not even joking. Look at you and wonder, a code word, a status. Uh, you know, where's this person headed? They can tell all these things. What is it? Whatever is your general demeanor and at the top of your to-do list, and what you're most pissed off about or what you're most happy about, they can see it. And if they start questioning you, you don't answer them correctly, you're going to go to jail. Or if they start questioning you at a traffic stop and you start opining and pondering in your head what you're going to do with the cocaine you have stashed in your trunk, for example, they're going to hear that. And can they open up your trunk right there? Well, some will. Some will, if they know if they have a gut feeling combined with a reasonable suspicion feeling, and they are willing to risk their job, which it probably won't even be taken if they were wrong. But they're going to open your trunk whether you like it or not, whether you give them consent or not, and they're going to find the drugs. And I'm just using it as an example. We don't want people transporting drugs across the country, but I'm just saying, if you happen to say you have some flowers that you're not allowed to have, and say azaleas were illegal suddenly, and your mother loves azaleas. You got a trunk full of azaleas. Oh my God, I have a trunk full of azaleas. You'll be thinking at the traffic stop, and the contacting officer will hear that. He's not going to have to open your trunk illegally. They will. They have already devised a series of questions to get into your trunk once they know this. Okay, if you're on your way to kill your wife because she's fucking another man in a certain hotel room, they're going to know that. I'm on my way to get some Dave's Killer Bread. Mm-hmm. No, no. You're on your way to get some Dave's Killer Bread after you kill Dave, who's fucking your wife. Okay? So half of it was right, at least. Look, I'm not joking. Motherfuckers don't know what's coming. You just don't know. I wish you did. Had you listened to people like me, you would. People like Richard Lighthouse, people like Robert Duncan, people like a lot of people who tried to tell you this shit, and they get scoffed at. People like the lady on, you can see her testifying. They're giving her forced orgasms, and I know it sounds funny. Where can I get one of those forced orgasms? The lady don't think it's funny. The Justice Department signals intelligence is actually giving this woman forced orgasms, torturing her, and she doesn't like it. And people make jokes about it. Yeah, it sounds funny, but imagine if they started playing with your genitals while you're laying in your bed, vibrating you with their 5G electric. Are you gonna like that? You probably will, most likely, because most Americans have turned into reprobates and zombies, and would say, "Give me some more of that." Even some of the women. But I think it's aberrant. I think it's a travesty of justice. It's a miscarriage of justice, in fact. I think the people who do this, the fact that they're not caught, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes to the uh, wanton corruption that it is ensconced, baked, sewn into our so-called justice system, criminal justice system, I like to say. It's actually cooked in there and you can't get it out. You'll destroy the whole apparatus. It'll be, uh, it'll be unusable if you try to pull the poison out of the food that's been put in your dog bowl. You know, like I used to mix food up for my dog real that he loved. If he liked cheesesteaks, I put chop it up real fine and put it in his dog food. And that motherfucker, in many cases, would still find a way to pick out the steak, just that the shit he liked, and then he would ultimately eat the dog food. But then I got wise and I chopped it up real fine to where it was all one. Alpo and Geno's. And Onyx, my black lab, could not get. He used to look at me. He used to go down to the bowl at first and look up at me and be like, "What happened? I can smell it in there, but I can't get it out." Yeah, motherfucker, because I chopped it up real fine. So you're going to have to eat the whole bowl, buddy. I love you. And that's what they've done to us, except theirs is poison and theirs is non consensual. You have no idea what they're putting in it. It could purify you, it could putrefy you, it could kill you, but should we be leaving that up to people we don't even know, dropping things we don't even know into food that we don't even know how to pronounce the ingredients of, most of them? I don't think so. I really don't. And people like me, they've been using to, let's say, beta test this and fine tune it. This is the fine tuning hour. It's just about done. They're not experimenting. They still will always continue to experiment because you would always get new. Um, you could always derive brand new technologies and innovations and methods and means and techniques from experimenting in ways that you never have before. But most of the experimentation is done. It's not experimenting. This is a operation. They know exactly what they're doing. They have you breathing it just enough reactive oxygen species. I think 5% is needed. They look like little dust mites. They're not, they're little air bubbles. And when you breathe them in, they interact with what is already inside you that you've been breathing in from the chemtrails that they blessed you with over the last 30 plus years. So the fact that we let them guys, as we walk around downtown areas, working, going to work and on our lunch break, we don't even look up and see. Sometimes it's so egregious, and most of the time they're making fun of the people they're spraying like roaches because it's on the precipice of of can this be human? This to the at first glance, it's like wow, that looks almost like it was done deliberately. If you and longer and take a little bit more time to analyze it, you will see that this is human. This is not a joke. Pluto wasn't on Pluto. They put Pluto on Pluto, and then they put it in publications to propagandize you with it. And guess what? People fell for it. I'm sure that there were people in the NASA cafeteria having conversations. Hey, Mark, did you see Pluto? It's on Pluto. Yeah, yeah. And they're talking about it. And then maybe sometimes there's some guy who knows better, watching either at the table or from afar, or just listening to their minds and voices saying, wow, we did it. Even our own employees think Pluto was on Pluto, the dog Pluto, on the planet Pluto. Imagine that. That's yeah. That just reminds me of this shit like RU486, the abortion pill. RU486. It's like somebody slipped that in there. They're asking you a question. RU486. And shit like that, we never ever corrected, remedied, and we never even confronted it because, well, we trusted the people who are looking out for us. And guess what? They're looking out for us. They're looking out their bulletproof windows at us, rather, and waiting for us to start rioting. They got the zombie rounds galore, Z-Max. They were using them for practice, holotips, and I don't even doubt it. When the Homeland Security said that absurd response, we're using the $4 billion in holotips, Z-Max, zombie rounds. We're using them for target practice. And it's just another mindfuck, gaslight, gang stalk um, to validate once again that we are not very concerned about ourselves because we want a leader to lead us and we trust him. And whatever that leader says, no matter how absurd, it's just counterintuitive. Trust me, it's going to help you in the end. It may sound absurd, uh, but it's just counterintuitive. That disease is smart. It knows whether you're 6, 4, or 8 feet apart. It knows these things, so you better say 6 feet apart. Now, you keep on swimming in denial, and you're going to drown. Lights on, rats out. Lights on, rats out. This is Payday Monsanto signing out. You just ain't ready for what is about to come down the pike. You just ain't ready.